Societal and political trends are rapidly breaking down the family that once was the cornerstone of our great American culture. At FIT, we know you cannot get this information on your own, so we'll bring it to your TV every single week. And we always invite all opposing views. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the current successful Huntington Town Councilman, Gene Cook, running for re-election. Gene, amongst many things, has improved many veterans facilities for the town of Huntington and supports new veteran programs. Most importantly, he is a businessman who knows how to create an atmosphere that works for our town. He's not a career politician. He is for improving the town's appearance, its total business operations, and he's against wasteful spending to keep taxation under control. He calls for other changes, and let's find out what all that is about. And here he is, and welcome, Gene Cook.
Hey, Chris. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you again. So just so we can tune up the audience a little bit as to what you do, what does the town councilman do? This is the Huntington Town Councilman.
Town councilman is a policymaker. So they vote on new laws. They take care of contracts for the town. And my idea is that the town council person should be able to assist the taxpayers and the business owners in their needs.
That sounds like you should be doing that, right?
Yeah,
That's your job. Yeah.
That's what it should be, as far as I'm concerned.
It seems like in Huntington Town, because I know it quite well, it seems like a lot of management issues go down that I'm not really in touch with as a citizen.
Right.
So is there a way by using a website or something that you can connect with the people to let them know what's going on?
Well, I have a website for this election, and the town has a website that you can get on and look at all the things that the town does, and whether it's shows or public hearings or any of that information. That's easily accessible through the internet.
Okay.
But if any resident or any business has a problem in anything that they're doing, they should reach out to their council people and ask for some help.
Okay.
That's what we're there for.
Right, right. I know I have in the past, and you've been very helpful. Thank you. So you've done a lot of work for the veterans facilities. Would you tell us a little bit about what you have done?
Well, what I have done is I've gotten businesses to donate materials and equipment and personnel to get some issues taken care of that the veterans, basically the American Legion Hall and the VFW halls, needed that they could not get. There was never any money in the budget for the federal budget to assist them. So all the work that I've done, and we've paved some parking lots and taken care of it so that veterans, if they're getting out of the cars, aren't tripping and falling. They have a nice area to walk and get in. And all that work was donated by local businesses and the same with the equipment. So there was no cost to the taxpayers whatsoever to get this done. So
did you manage that yourself? I mean,
I was sort of the orchestra leader. I put it all together, and I did plan it out and manage it that way, like I would do in my own business.
Right. Were the other town people impressed that you did all that without any taxpayer funds going towards it?
They never said. They never said.
The people will vote for those people that they can relate to. And so far, I know that my experience with you is well enough that your crew and your staff have really been able to help me. Have enough people been able to benefit from the things that you do with the town?
Oh, I think I would say yes in the people that we've assisted and helped. But I think there's so much more we could do. And I think it's important. But the problem with Town Hall in Huntington is that it's a place that everybody's afraid of. And really, residents should be able to come in, open doors, be able to get their answers right away, get permits right away, and if they have any issues, get those resolved right away.
For some reason or other, I can relate to what you're talking about. Going in front of an agency, a government, sometimes a lawyer or a judge, or there's an intimidation factor that the average person experiences when they come to see people like yourself. Yeah. And they don't really know how to address you in that particular place. Even though you're there to help, there's something that goes on in their head that stops them from being relaxed in that environment. Yeah. So can you do something on your website maybe that would create a friendly environment for John Q. public to come in more easily? I mean, I'm just making a suggestion.
Chris, there's a better way of doing it.
Yeah.
We've had the same politicians in there for years. It's time for the people to get up and say, enough is enough, let's vote them out and bring in some new blood. We, as the residents of the town of Huntington, are the people that should be managing our own business. not these career politicians. And anyone that's been there for more than 8 years, I think should be voted out. It's as simple as that.
There's fiscal issues that the town board has had recently. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, in the past 4 years that I've been on the town board, I've never voted for the budget. Last year was a thing that just bothered me to no end. The supervisor and the other 3 council people came out and said that they were raising taxes 2.9%. And they actually raised taxes 7.82%. So it's up to every resident to go out and take a look at their tax bill from 2014 to 2015 and see the difference. And know that when these people are lying to you, they should not be representing you in the business of the people anymore.
How did the 2.9 notice come to the public?
The supervisor and the other town board members had said it at a public hearing.
So at a hearing, they announced 2.7 and then
2.9.
2.9. I'm sorry, and then somehow it got to 7.82 without any.
Well, it's all a trick of the hand, so to speak. And so 2.9% was a portion of it, but the overall total tax increase for the town, just for the town, not the schools or anything else, just for the town portion, was 7.82%. And I ask everybody that's out there that's listening, go check your own tax bill. See who's lying to you. And this way you know when you go to the voting booth who you need to vote for. And it's as simple as that.
You know, it might be helpful to compare other tax bills, wouldn't it? To review where your percentages of increases
Absolutely, absolutely.
are. I know the school taxes just keeps going up.
Yeah, yeah. And the town has nothing to do with the school portion. We collect the tax and give it to the school board, and that's nothing that we can't do anything about that.
Sanitation and water and stuff like that.
Water,
parks,
sewer,
recreation,
parks,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All that is the town.
Is there anything that you see that's up in front that you could possibly say that, well, you know, I can contribute to this area, this is something we need to do, and make proposals to the board in general?
I have. When I first came in 4 years ago, I went to the supervisor, and we had some real issues in parking down in the village. I said, listen, we need to put a 3-story parking garage up between New Street and Green Street. I designed it so that we could put, not that I designed it, but I gave a conversation to the supervisor saying that we could put mezzanines on the outside. We make sure it has plenty of lighting, music, and we can rent little storefronts out there, 1,000-square-foot stores for little cafes or whatever, and we have plenty of parking. It increases our parking a little over 3 times. So he was, hooting and hollering and saying, you know how much that's going to cost? And I said, yeah, 0. And the reason it costs 0 is if we do a public-private partnership, we can get developers that do this kind of thing, and we let them collect the money, maintain the building for a period of years. And then at the end of that time, it comes back to the town in the condition it was originally built in. So they have to maintain it the entire time that they're there. And they collect the revenue to offset their expense into it. And it costs no money to the taxpayers.
I was going to say, that seems like a major advantage for a town to consider.
It's a huge advantage. But
why aren't they entertaining something like
this? Well,
this?
the last I heard was that the supervisor wanted to put a parking garage up with now apartments above it. Well, once you do that, you eliminate the use of the parking garage because all those tenants are going to need a place to park.
And aren't they going to get upset about the fumes and the honking and everything? It doesn't seem like a...
No, it doesn't seem like a good idea to me at all.
Not at all.
So, in Huntington Station, there was a lot of issues with crime. There was a young woman that was killed last year, and it got everybody, on edge. And I went right into the supervisor and I said, listen, we can solve this. Let me take over public safety, and what we'll do is we'll hire new people in public safety and let them patrol, do a walk-in beat. If they see anybody, they have radios, any issues going on, they have radios, they call the police and say there's an issue over here, there may be an issue over here. At night, we have cars that have surveillance, satellite
imagery?
Not imagery, but so we know where they are.
GPS?
GPS.
Yeah.
I wanted to put a map together so that these cars could go little yellow lights, almost like a
auxiliary
gated
policing,
community.
that kind of thing?
It's something like that, but it would be our public safety policing. And this way we can assist the police department, okay? It would cost somewhere about $750,000 a year. But I said, listen, let's hire veterans. Okay, let's get them started and see what we can do. No, the supervisor wanted nothing to do with it. And so these are the issues that you have that it's a shame because they don't cost a lot of money. And it's something that's needed in the town. Huntington Station is a beautiful town. It's a beautiful area. And people are upset because the management is not there. It's not because Suffolk County Police Department isn't doing the right job. They are. They're doing a hard, they do the hard work and they get things done. But they could use a little assistance. And
Sure,
why not
you
take
can't be everywhere.
Right. And why not take the public safety and use it that way?
Sure. And your idea about using veterans is an excellent idea, and it's probably a reduced cost there too.
Yeah.
And Huntington Station, as you say, it was a great town. It has good school reputation, and
Yeah.
and it's a great environment to bring up a family.
Yeah. And it wouldn't take much to get it moving in the right direction. But you need good leadership. And that's the problem we have.
So what do you think was holding the town back? I mean, can I just venture a guess? Would the unions have anything to do with holding back?
I don't think it was the unions at all.
No?
I don't think I think it was the supervisor who basically squashed it as soon as I spoke to him. It was something he had other plans.
What
He
would you
wanted
think
things
his
done.
What would you think his rationale might be?
I
It's
wouldn't.
guesswork
That's
at this
something
point.
that
Yeah.
you'd have to speak to him about.
Well, we'll ask him to invite him to the show, and may I do
Good.
that right now? I'll invite the supervisor
Yeah.
to the show. What were you referring to regarding the town budgetary constraints? If there's a way to manage it differently, is there a way for you to manage it differently, or are you relied to stuck with what you have?
No, no. I think it's been mismanaged for years. Okay, in the past 4 years or 3 years, I have never voted for Frank Petrone's budget. Okay, he has far too much bonding. We're into $121 million worth of bonding. We're bonding other things that we don't have. We just recently bonded at $38 million.
Could you explain what that bond is a little bit like? I mean, is it
Okay,
like
so-
a bargaining on future debt?
It is. And what happens is that you have the budget that Frank puts out, and then he bonds between $10 and $15 million a year. We're now over $121 million in long-term outstanding debt. The problem with that is he's bonding cars, which have a 7-year useful life. We're bonding computers that have a 4-year useful life. And these are out for 20 years. So our kids and grandkids are going to end up, paying this off on things that are long obsolete, and this is a problem. It's not proper business. Okay, we wouldn't do that with our own homes. So why is the supervisor and the town board doing it with, our money? It shouldn't be.
We can extend this out a little bit to Suffolk County in general. I mean, they're in debt. They're 56th out of 64th. We're over budgeted in so many different areas.
And the state also. And of course, we all know the federal government.
Yeah.
It's sickening.
What is this, like a disease or something?
It is a disease. But if you take a look at the politicians that are doing that, they all have something in common. They all follow the same path. And they think that by kicking the can down, they sort of, flash some lights up here, and they're sort of, picking everything over here. So it's a problem because they're not giving us the truth. There's no transparency. And that's with the town, the county, and the state, and certainly the federal government.
Would that be like, I got to look good now, and the way that I look good is I can use these funds and I extend my legacy further into the future?
Yeah, yeah. Now, Frank Petrone has said he's not going to run again, okay? He's got 2 years left. But if he doesn't manage everything properly, what legacy does he have? And this is the shame of it.
I think people in general look at Huntington and the Huntington Station area, they look at it as a quality area.
Yeah.
And as far as I can tell, we always rank in the top 100 of towns in the country.
Yeah.
So we obviously have good cause to be that. We have a lot of, there was a war fought here, the Battle of Long Island, I think was fought here, right?
Right.
And there's history here, and there's old buildings, there's a lot of stuff that we should be taking care of. Some of these facilities are taken care of pretty well.
Yes.
And recently, is any of this coming back? Like the school budgets are. I'm trying to make a reference here that maybe you can grab. That we're going to take away your busing if you don't give us this 5% increase in the school. The minute that the budget is held in the balance, the school budget is held in the balance, they threaten you with what they're going to take away, the busing or the sports programs, and they make you work to go take your kids to school if they kill the budget. Is that the same kind of thing? Is there any kind of inside threat?
No. It's more with school budget. It's out there and it's pretty transparent of what the school budget, what is needed to keep the schools going. In the town, to me, it's always very secretive. If you take a look at the town budget, it's got codes and codes and codes. So you have to figure out what all those codes are for and where that money is going for.
Right.
It's sort of like a secret society. Like, yeah, this is our budget. Don't worry, we're taking $200 million from you, but you don't have to know where we're spending it. And that
Right.
I find ridiculous.
Of course. So this accountability feature is missing at the town.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What can change in this you're got 2 years coming up here. I'm sure you're going to be reelected, but
Well, no, I'm up in November for re-election.
Oh, 3
So
years. I'm sorry.
it-
Yeah, but
well, I'm in my 4th year.
Okay.
And that'll be over in
but it's a
December.
3-year term. Is it?
It's a 4-year term.
It's a 4-year term.
So-
Okay. All right.
So,
in
it's
your-
actually in my 4th year.
So
you know.
when you win this election coming up,
Right.
and then the next 4 years, what can you do if you're?
Well, I'm hoping I'll have somebody like-minded on the board with me. And I'm hoping that we can get together and say, enough is enough. Being the outsider on the board now, if I have a resolution and I want to put it up, if nobody seconds it, I can't even put it up. So it becomes a problem. So you need
You need another person from the party that you're.
well, not from the party, but just
No?
a like-minded individual. It could be a
Oh, I know,
Democrat
you said that.
or
That's right. Yeah, you said
know,
that,
a,
right.
a Republican, independent, conservative. It could be anything.
Did you get any kind of like-mindedness in the last couple of years?
No. After Mark Mayoka left, there was a woman by the name of Tracy Edwards came in.
Right.
And yeah, she's very easy to talk to, and we do have a lot of things that we're on the same page with. But, you know, she's part of them, you know, so that it's difficult sometimes to get things done.
You know, that's one of my big complaints about the political polarity, that it's so difficult to get through anything if you don't have some teamsmanship going on.
Yeah.
If you got a great idea, you get squashed, that's not a good thing.
Right.
And if people who are watching this program knew that was happening, I'm sure they'd support you and support somebody else in your party to help balance that equation off, so at least you can get a good idea to go forward, right?
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
It should be, you know, easy to get things moving and people to be like-minded. It doesn't matter whether it's a Democrat or Republican, an independent, conservative. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Let's sit at the table and talk and find out what we can do to keep the town moving forward in a positive direction.
Sure. With the 4-to-1 ratio, or is it 3-to-1 ratio you have?
4 to 1.
4-to-1 ratio, I mean, if you're squashed, there's no balance, there's no
There's
counterbalance.
no.
There's no new ideas can develop. That means the party in charge
Right.
stays in charge in the town and you become less involved.
Yeah.
What a terrible idea. I mean, this is crazy. This should have some kind of rule where you have to have some kind of balance on a board.
Well, you know, it's the.
I mean, that makes sense to me.
It does make sense, but there's some reasons, you know, that it happens this way, and I don't know if a rule is going to help it one way or the other. You know, it could be that if you put a rule in there, then there's constant fighting.
Yeah,
and you know,
yeah.
you don't want to be fighting. It's the business of the people. It's pretty simple to do. Every one of us manages our own household, or car payments, or whatever it is. We can do the same thing with the town.
Well, we just have another minute or so here left. Just interested in what you've done that you can tell the people that by supporting you, you'll continue to work with.
Well, I want transparency for sure. You know, it's difficult to see when people look at the budget and they don't know. And a lot of people get, you know, their taxes taken out of through their bank, so their mortgage company. And so they get a little increase each year. They don't really realize how much the town is actually pushing up the taxes. They do when they look at their tax bill once in a while and they say, oh, my taxes are $10,000. How can they do that? Well, you know, by next year it's $12,000, that's $1,000 a month. You know, for a little quarter-acre place.
Sure, yeah.
It's way too much money. You know?
Can you do anything about that, the taxation?
Well, you can. I believe you can manage the business of the people much better. I don't think it's managed properly at all because you've had people there too long that just keep doing the same thing that they've always done. Okay, you need new ideas, and people come in like the garage for no money to the taxpayers. Okay, better maintenance. Okay?
That's a no-brainer. That was something we should have done.
And it's easy to do, but you need people that can think and say, what do we need to do? I have a certain amount of time to do it. Let's get it done. Now, one of the important things that I want to tell you is that I'm an elected official. As an elected official, I'm probably the only one out there that will tell you I'm never going to run for town council ever again. This will be the last time I do it because I believe in term limits so strongly that if I'm going to try to get it through, I need some like-minded people on the board with me. If I cannot, I need to show that 2 4-year terms is the max if I get reelected in this November election.
I thank you very much for participating in this program, Gene Cook. Hope
Chris,
the
it's great to
veterans
see you.
will benefit you very well, and I also hope, I'm glad you're for term limits, because that's the way to think. You're not supposed to be a career politician.
No, not at all.
Thank you very much, Gene.
My
Appreciate
pleasure,
it.
Chris. Thank you.
You're welcome. You've been watching FIT TV, the program that brings you behind the scenes of our divorce culture. At FIT, we know you cannot get this information on your own, so we'll bring it to your TV every single week. My name is Chris DiMaggio. We invite all opposing views, by the way, and thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Every week we return all our cans and bottles. Yeah, we help to reduce the world's waste.
But aluminum? It's like gold. Oh, yeah.
Environmental defense. Get green. For more environmentally friendly tips, go to getgreen.com.
Oh, there's a bottle.
Where?
Right over there. To your left. To your left. There you go. You got it.